You're listening to the official Minnesota Wild podcast, presented by Acrisure.
First, I'd like to take a minute to thank some people. First and foremost, our fans. This year has been quite a ride, and I can tell you honestly, we feel the support, we feel the love, we feel the passion that this market and community has for the Minnesota Wild and the players, and how much they live and die with us and how much they want to see us succeed. I just don't think you can put into words what the support, what the energy inside Grand Casino Arena means to the players as the game's going on, to us as management and coaches, because you can feel that you're doing something right because of the reaction of the crowd and the fan base. I've been around this league a long, long time. Played on a bunch of teams, and it is second to none here. This is a fantastic place to play and work in the world of hockey because of our fans. So thank you. Next is to, believe it or not, guys, to the media. We appreciate the coverage, the time you guys spent this past season with us. Hey, look, it's you guys speak the truth, and you write what you have to write or report what you have to report, and that goes through the good and bad. But the relationship that we have with you guys is really incredible, and we appreciate it. We also don't want to forget our good friend Jesse Pierce, who would, without a doubt, be sitting in the front row with a big smile on her face. And we miss Jessie coming down the stretch here and miss her every single day. And we understand that it was a extremely difficult time for everybody in this room. So we want to make sure that you guys know that we have not forgotten. Also to the Wild employees, everybody that works behind the scenes in the ticket office, on the business side, selling tickets, selling advertisements, marketing, any which way you can sell something to make money for the Minnesota Wild so we can put a product on the ice. We know there's a lot of heart and soul that goes into it. Also, the employees at the Grand Casino Arena, ushers, security, the ice crew, everybody. It just takes so much to put on a game and to make all this happen. And there's a lot of hard work and passion that goes into it. Our sponsors, again, going back to the support that we feel from the community, we have tremendous support from a lot of the local companies and businesses and things that people that get involved with our team to support us. Craig Leopold for his continued support and passion for this team and the desire to bring a Stanley Cup championship to Minnesota. For me personally, our coaches put an incredible amount of time into this team. Their personal lives and family lives take a back seat to their work, and they do a tremendous job and commit a lot of their lives to this. So thank you, and I appreciate it. Our staff, support staff, medical equipment, anything that goes on behind the scenes, our social media crew, our game ops crew, everything keeps getting better and better. And I just want to thank you guys too. To the players and their families, the commitment that the guys showed this year is incredible. Their desire to win is unmatched. they've put everything into this, their heart and soul, and I know their families do as well. I see their families after games all the time. Wives, children, extended families come in, and it is a family thing. They're all in, and I appreciate it. And lastly, for the thank yous to my family. This has been a crazy year for me personally, with my involvement with the Wild and with the Olympic team, and even going back to the Four Nations team. My focus has been on my job quite a bit, on the Olympics, on a lot of different things, and sometimes my brain is elsewhere. I couldn't do this alone. So to my wife Kara, my 4 kids, I couldn't do it alone. So thank you. Moving on to this season. I know we only have a certain amount of time, but listen, I'm very proud of our team. We had a poor start. We got it together. We started playing like an elite team, and we were able to trade for Quinn Hughes. We got even better. We played like an elite team. There's a lot of positives here. There really are. We have an incredible core of young players, guys in their mid to late 20s, which is what you want. Things like that are they help you be confident in the future. There's just a lot to look forward to. That being said, we have not achieved our ultimate goal. The expectations are they're higher than they ever have been before. We got over, I guess we got over that hump finally. But again, that's not our goal. Our goal is to win the Stanley Cup. It felt good. It did. The feeling of kind of being able to put that behind us was good. See the fan reaction was crazy. It was incredible, and I'm proud of that. I'm happy about that. But like I said, it's not what we're after. It's not what we're after. There are a lot of good things this year. We're headed in the right direction. We continue to head in the right direction. And we are going to continue to improve this hockey team and get better and keep moving forward. We have cap space. We have assets. We'll do whatever we can to continue to make this team better and better so we can win a championship. So thank you to everybody, and now we can open it up.
Well, Billy, with that in mind, I've seen other Cup teams talk about getting close, being a contender, and learning from a setback against one of the best teams in the league. You've lived it as a player, as a manager. How does this team, how does this coaching staff use the success of the regular season, the playoff series against Dallas, and the disappointment against Colorado to get to that next step?
Yeah, I think, we're always learning. We're always, learning from experiences. And, the thing is that in life, in hockey, you tend to learn more from the pain. Not too many teams just make it to the playoffs for the first time or get past the first round in 11 years and then just march right on to incredible success, and they never look back and there's no pain. you have to learn from the pain. I know this one, for me personally, and I know in talking to John and talking to some of the players, this is the worst one. This one hurts the most because I think there was the reality of real reality of doing something special. So I can tell you the pain's there, but we'll get better. We'll get better because of it.
Yeah, just Billy, on that note, as you've always said, it is just as painful losing in the second round or third round as is the first, right? The whole proverbial going over the hump. But on the last couple games of the series against Colorado, how much were you seething? The way that you guys came out for Game 4 and the way that veterans didn't make poised plays at the end of the last 3 or 4 minutes of Game 5. And how does that get better?
Yeah, I was Game 4 to me, the disappointment was that's the one to me, more than Game 5. Game 4 was what was the word used? Seething, like that. That's what it was. Because when we play our game, when we do the things that we're supposed to do, play our game the way we're built, not the game you want to play, the game we need to play. When we do that, we're very, very hard to beat. And in Game 3, I saw our team do that, and that game wasn't close. And then I saw in Game 4 a complete 180, and you saw the result. It wasn't close the other way. That was disappointing. Game 5, you know what? Game 5 to me, you knew they were going to make a push. You knew they were going to do certain things, open it up a bit. That was disappointing. But to me, you know, in 48 hours, going from a well-oiled machine that played great and did all the things right, to going to 48 hours later, not doing those things, I think that's something that we're all going to need to learn from.
John, just similar to what Billy maybe said, one thing we heard from Matt Boldy after the final game was you need to learn to lose so you can learn to win. Inside the locker room, just what level of learning did you see, especially from that young core, from this playoff experience?
I think there was a lot of learning from the guys, and I think the question that Mike just asked Billy, I think that really understanding how consistent you have to be in the playoffs. Every game is important. I think when you look at the consistency level we played with for the most part in the Dallas series was there, and then it was a quick transition right into the Colorado series. We know how that went, but then we gathered ourselves, and I think it's understanding you're playing the same team time and time again. It's not like the regular season. The consistency level you have to play with, the dedication level you have to play with of the simple things, truly understanding, tactically what you need to do, emotionally how you need to play against the team as the series continues to go on. And when you look at it, that's where we slipped a bit, particularly in Game 4. Was that the willingness and the commitment to bring that night in and night out, shift in, shift out, game in, game out. I think that's a big one for all of us. But I think there's lots more to come out of it when you dissect it back with the players of, okay, when you really go through the Dallas series, what did it take to win that series, right? And then you come into the second round, and now we play, and okay, why didn't we meet the goal we needed to in that series. There's a lot of probably a longer discussion than together right here, but I think experience is his best teacher. And we had, some great lessons coming out of the Dallas series, and then we have some harder lessons coming out of the Colorado series.
Billy, you mentioned you have cap space and assets to use this summer. Like, what did you learn from the playoffs from your teams from a personnel perspective that you need to add or change to? Obviously, your depth was tested with some injuries, but just what kind of areas you think you need to bolster here in the summertime?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we can, the talk here is always a number one center. Obviously that's, hey, look, we'll see what's available. But again, I can't give you those answers today because we don't know who's going to be available, what's going to be available. This is still fresh, but I think I've shown you that, and our fans and everybody involved, that if there is something out there that can make our team better, I am willing to do it, and I won't sit on my hands.
Billy, with the success you saw in Game 3 of that series, does that give you a clear vision of what pieces you want to add or where you see things? Because you've seen this team finally play to the capabilities that you thought they had in them. Now to take that next step, did that help you figure or provide more insight into where you need to move this franchise with pieces this offseason?
No, it's not one game, really. I mean, look, we played that game to a T. I think it shows like you said, it shows the capability of the people that we have here now. But we can always get better. We always have to look to get better. I'm not going to sit here and make my whole off-season plan based on one or two games. It's as a whole, and you have to look at the roster and see what's available, where we can improve, who's going to be available, and sometimes the marketplace dictates what you can do as well. But what I saw in Game 3 was, that was really encouraging. We're a good team. That's the thing. We are a very good team, and we did that with two of our best players out of the lineup. So, like I said, we got to take some time. I got to, make sure that we, again, like I've always kind of moved. I don't want to make knee-jerk reactions or say stupid things. And, you guys can have your clickbait or whatever you go for. But we just want to move methodically and just improve the team every single year.
Bill, were there any other injuries besides Eriksson and Brodin to close out the year, and any surgeries you're expecting from him?
Yeah, there's always a bunch. I know Tarasenko was really banged up. Gustafson's going to have off-season surgery on his hip. That will be coming up as soon as possible. Yeah, those are the main ones.
You expect Gustafson ready by the start of the year?
Don't know.
Okay.
Don't know. We'll see post-surgery.
Yeah.
We'll see post-surgery.
Is it labrum or is he going out to Vail?
Do you want all the injury reports and stuff like that? You want the X-rays?
Going to Vail?
No.
All right, so can I ask you on? I'm trying to come up with a nuanced way to ask this question, but I'm
just
blunt.
ask.
Yeah. Eriksson and Brodin, they are, every time they're out of your lineup, we see how invaluable they are to your lineup.
Yeah.
But they're always out of your lineup. So how do you, as an organization, continue to stay patient? How do you balance that where you can continue to, trust the fact that at the right times of the year they're going to be healthy?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. It's frustrating, but they get injured because they play hard. They do the right things. Sometimes it's bad luck. Broads gets hit in the foot with a shot that, maybe 8 times out of 10 it's fine, and the other 2 times you break a bone in your foot. Very unfortunate. But that's the thing. They do the right things. Ecky's a little more frustrating to me because it was after a whistle and he falls. I was going out of my mind. I'm like, what the hell just happened? Those are things that you can't fault guys on because they play hard. It was like a couple of years ago. I forget when it was, a couple of years ago, but we were coming down the stretch. We're in Pittsburgh. The game didn't mean anything, and Malkin shoots a puck, and Ecky sticks his foot out to block it, and we're all kind of like, no, don't block it, just let it go. The game doesn't mean anything. But instinctively, it's in him to block the shot because it's good for the team. He sticks his leg out and breaks a bone. It's like that. Those things are they're unlucky and they're unfortunate. But I don't see us being as good without those guys on our roster.
You talk about going possibly, if one's available, center one. Do you feel like you have the chips to sit down at that table if you really need to go get an elite guy? Do you have the assets? I know you won't name names, but are they there?
Yeah. There's always a way. There's always a way. There's always a deal to be made. Yeah. Yes. To answer your question, yes.
Billy, Quinn Hughes talked to us the other day and sounded really interested or open to re-signing here as early as the summer. What's been your read and vibe on that, and how confident are you that something can get done with him?
We're interested in signing Quinn too. Yeah, I mean, we loved having Quinn. He was so impactful. He's extremely dialed in on what's going on here. I know he liked it here. I know he likes the team. The team really embraced him. I love having him here. The impact that he had on our team was incredible. So, yeah, priority one. But these are things that, again, like I've told you guys, they take time, and I think everybody needs a little bit of time right now to just kind of decompress. And that's priority one.
Bill, with the goaltending, would it be your preference to just keep it as is, or is that a situation that could evolve, to leverage, to address,
Yeah, no, I mean, I like our goaltending situation. To be quite honest with you, I mean, we have both of our goalies are our number one goalies. The luxury of it is being able to put a fresh, rested goalie in net every night. And, both guys are signed. They're both very good. They work well in a tandem. They support each other. So I'm very comfortable with where it is.
Bill, you said obviously you won't sit on your hands if a deal comes that you feel like you can make. How much does the success of the Quinn Hughes deal and what you had to give up for it make you confident or emboldened to swing again if it shows up on your table?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always confident in that. In my ability to get a deal, I'm always willing. Look, if it's there, I'll be involved. And we're in a window now. We're in a window where we have a very good team. So we want to make sure that we don't just open the window 3/4 of the way. If there's a chance for us to get better, we will.
Can I ask you both a question that fans ask all the time about Boldy, and just whether or not at this stage of somebody's career that you could like instead of going out and getting a number one center, could you move him to center and then work on maybe getting a top six winger? Because we've seen times in games, John, where you move him to center, and he's played center in college. Like, is that at all something that's even feasible this stage? Would he even want to do it? Do you think he could do it full time?
I guess I'll answer first, but John can answer too. But for me, I think Matt naturally is a winger. I think another part of Matt's evolution into being, this superstar player is that he's grown into be able to do other things. Taking face-offs is one of them. Last year was a penalty kill. This year he's taken a lot more face-offs and proven that he can do it. I think he could do it in short spurts. In the end, I think he's a winger, but I think in short spurts he could do it. But I guess preference would be to get a natural center.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, we have used him at times on the line in the middle, whether we've had injuries or even throughout the playoffs. And he can do it, and he is good on faceoffs. But I would agree with Billy. I think, Matt's he's turning into a superstar player on the wing, and there's different responsibilities and assignments as a center versus a wing. It's not something that we've talked with him about, but I think because he is a good player, I think it's in spurts and segments he can do it. But I would agree. I think with his skill set and with his ability to play the wing and how he produces and how he plays the game, that I think if you did take a player that's highly successful on the wing and you moved him to center, sometimes that, like I said, it does change a little bit of what your skill set is and how the game comes to you as a wing versus a center.
Bill saw how valuable Zuccarello was. How much of a priority is he kind of moving forward as you look at your roster?
Yeah, you know what, Zuki's another guy that's really important to the team. He's, we saw when we were without him in the Dallas series how much we missed him. He's got a big voice in the room, and he helps in that department as well. And he's definitely another guy that we're going to have to, deal with this summer.
Billy, just real quick follow-up on Gustafson. Was that something happened in Game 2 of that series, or that a lingering thing over the course of the year?
It's a wear and tear.
It's a wear and tear?
Yeah.
And John, real quick for you, the players talk about learning from this experience. What did you learn as a coach from this experience and these guys, and what it can take to get him over the top there? You a second-round series as well?
Yeah, I've learned a lot. I think, we've, I'd say in the first series, the guys, there was a more maturity about us, I'd say, than a year ago versus Vegas. And I think internally the expectation and the belief that, we are good enough to win the series and get on a run. And I think a lot of the penalty discipline, I think playing with emotion and not emotional, I think a lot of the details of the game. I'll give you another example. Like Game 5, that was, there's a lot of talk to say, well, you went into prevent defense and we didn't play offense and things like that. I think that, when you get into a team and you're playing in the second round of the playoffs versus an elite team and you're up 3-0, right? There's going to be circumstances that happen in that game that the other team does that they wouldn't do. Over-aggressive pinching, like how your details have to be good in that and how you handle those situations and how do you change momentum, when things like that happen. And I think there's so many valuable lessons in that when you really go through, and you're still going through it. You're still decompressing. You go through each game, each series, a lot of the situations, the positives, the negatives. But like that's an example right there where, how do you change momentum when a team is going to put on a full court press, right? And they have nothing to lose in the game. There's details that you have to handle, your puck play, understanding how you handle the pressure, the details in which you need to play with defensively, how you can change the tide when you do get the puck in and out in the offensive zone, not be one and done, try to reestablish the offensive zone. Like all those little things when you come into it, I think that's why experience is the best teacher for the players, the coaches. But the more you do it, the more situations you put yourself in, we put ourselves in, and you take the good, but you also really want to take what are the key things we can take out of it. I'll give you another example. I think over the course of the season, if I look at our group when we came off emotional wins, a big win even in the regular season, we didn't follow it up with a good game. We had a big emotional win, in Game 3. We didn't follow it up in Game 4. And I think if you look at that track record, okay, now it gives you the information when we all come back together again, that's got to be a key point as we move through the season next year, right? When you play a good game, an emotional win, there's a next one. And now you go in and basically it was a big part of the playoff series. We didn't handle it the right way. That, to me, when you talk about the lessons and things like that, that's how we get better. It's not just, we played in the playoffs and we lost. We are going through it to get every ounce of information we can get and lessons, and how do we tie that into training camp, the messaging next year, certain goals we want to have, the mindset you need to have, in situations like that. Those are just a couple examples.
For either you, Bill, you mentioned the start and how you guys were able to turn it around, and then when you acquired Hughes, things changed. When you look back at that, what do you think really changed when he came in? Was it the swagger of the team? Was it just speed? And also the fit between him and Faber? Were you guys at all surprised of how well those two clicked?
Yeah, I think, quite honestly, it was all of those. I think when you add a player like Quinn, I think the guys in the room, they do, they walk a little bit taller. They got a little more swagger to them. Because you just added a world-class player and you're better. The pace at which we could play at, because Quinn moves the puck up so quickly and so efficiently. The pace of our game got better, and the heck was the third thing you said?
Faber fit, just like the fit with
Faber. See, my brain wanders. I thought Fabes immediately got better. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was almost like Fabes saw Quinn play and he said, to me, it was like, oh wow, you can do that stuff as a defenseman. And he immediately became, more assertive, used his legs more, just got more involved. He wasn't just okay with moving the puck up and then waiting to defend. He started going. And that to me was a really positive effect that I think Quinn had on him. Probably a better question for him, but that's kind of the way I saw it. And they're a really good pair. I mean, they're two really good players.
For either of you, talking about centers, Michael McCarron was kind of a depth addition, I would say, at the trade deadline, and part of it was injury related, but obviously worked his way up the line chart a little bit as the playoffs went on. Just where do you see, his impact and maybe his future? Yeah,
I mean, we have a ton of interest in bringing Mac back. We thought he was a really good fit. He delivered on everything, that we knew about him and was told about him. I guess John could answer, lineup stuff, but I think everybody was really happy.
Yeah,
I know everybody was really happy.
Yeah, he played solid, and obviously, he was good in the face-off circle. He brings a lot of emotion, great details, fit in well with the team. Was good on the penalty kill. And I think when you look at even when we did get the injuries moving forward in Colorado, we moved him around on different guys. The thing that we liked a lot about Mac was he played with a lot of different guys, but his game never changed. When he played later with Boldy and JoJo, he was the same guy when he was playing if he was with the two Felinos. And that's the value that he brought. It was just a very consistent player playing to his strengths regardless of the circumstances.
Got some fire to him, too.
He's got a lot of fire to him, yeah. Oh, yeah, he's good with that.
Yeah.
Him and Zuccarello aside, Bill, I guess, with the rest of the UFAs, feasible to bring him back?
Yeah, I mean, look,
back?
I have time for everybody. What we can do and what we can't do is, we'll figure that out down the road. I like the team. We're a good team. A lot of guys had really good years, and they're good. They're good guys. They're good teammates. But we have to figure out what's going to be best for us moving forward. We're just not there right now.
And the players, like a Hunt, who else maybe could be vying for a roster spot next season? That's here already. That's been in the pipeline or had some minutes this season.
I mean, there's a number. I mean, Frank Haight. You're off will probably take another step. Not really there right now, Sarah.
The penalty kill this 2 years in a row, obviously in the playoffs, John, that it's hurt you guys. I mean, different personnel, but you're still the same coach that coached the perfect USA hockey PK. So I don't think it's the system. So how do you just have to take another deep dive into this, or is it a personnel issue that you are going to have to, as a tandem, figure out this offseason on how to get better, faster, bigger penalty killers, whatever it may be?
Yeah, it's something that you're thinking about it and working through it throughout the playoffs. Since the playoffs have been over, that's another big topic. I mean, I've talked with players that played at the Olympics, at the Four Nations, guys from different systems. What's the difference? I just think at times. You're playing against 5 elite players, and sometimes the details, the reads, just being on target, being on time in certain areas, can be a little bit better. We got to coach them better, and players have to execute them better. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of time again on that. Like, we don't take it lightly, and maybe we have to tweak some things. There's got to be some details to it. It could be looking at a couple different guys on the kill. So it's certainly something that you're diving into, as you said, because you have the experiences, away from the Wild, and then you come back and there's stretches and surges where it's good, but it's inconsistent. And we got to get to the bottom of why is it inconsistent. It can go for long stretches, and all of a sudden we get scored on, and then it just bleeds. And then we get back on our heels, and we're not as aggressive, and it's something that continue to put a lot of thought into. Even when you look at our team, like, we're a good defensive team. The guys understand how to play with structure, and if we have an issue in our D zone coverage or our line rush defense, and we get scored on, you can present it to them and it's fixed. And it feels like with the penalty kill, it can get hot, but then when it gets cracked, it just bleeds a little bit too much. And to me, that's more the focus. More attack, more on our toes, not so fragile, I would say, with the penalty kill.
Bill, you said you guys are in a window right now. Can you maximize that window with internal growth, taking what you've learned from this season and moving forward, or do you think you need to add to maximize the window?
We'll probably have to add, but I do believe that we have some younger players that can start pushing for a more regular role. And to be honest with you, we need that. We need younger players that are, you know what, ready to come in and contribute and kind of kick the door in. And, you know, I always say this is not an easy business. This is a cutthroat business, whether you're, you know, in management, coaching, or a player. You have to take someone's job. The problem that you run into in today's day and age is that every young player wants something. They want it. They want to be given something. Their agents want 10 games for an opportunity, 20 games for an opportunity. We don't have time to do that. What we need is young players that come in and say, I'm here. I'm willing to do anything. I'm willing to play on the fourth line or penalty kill, block shots, and this and that. We want guys that are ready to come through the door and say, I've arrived.
Can I, on a follow-up on that, you know, shorter training camp next year, does it make it harder now for these kids to burst in when you're going to have only, 3 exhibition games? Maybe even less?
Like 4.
Yeah, but, you know, some people at the PA probably didn't want a training camp anyway. So, but again, they're not going to get those opportunities because we're getting our team ready. So they're going to spend more time in the American Hockey League. But to me, that's good too, because that's probably what they really need more than anything else, is to spend time in the American League. Some guys will make it. Some guys are going to get those opportunities, but some guys will spend more time in the American League at the beginning of the year, but that's not a bad thing.
Bill, what do you think about the job that John did this year, and then do you expect the whole entire kind of same staff coming back next year? Yeah,
I do, and I thought John did a great job this year. You guys know I'm a big believer in John and what he does and how he operates. I see it firsthand. Not just the amount of work that goes into it, because anybody can sit at a desk and a computer for hours upon time and say they did a lot of work. To me, that's fine. It's the detail in which he does it in. If you could have seen the detail of the work and the time that these guys put in between game 2 and 3 to make those adjustments, to deliver the message to the team. I mean, those are the things that I'm talking about. That's why I believe in John. It's because of the detail in which he goes through it. And, you know, and the messaging. You know, we sit in his office, you know, quite a few times a year and talk about messaging to the players, to the power play, to the penalty kill, to the players as a whole. What's the message? How are they going to grasp it the best? And I really think that's one of the things that separates John from other coaches, is that the time that he puts into the messaging. It's not just, this is what I say, I'm cramming it down your throat, do it. He gives them the reason why we're going to do this, why we're going to have success doing that. He shows it to them, goes through it with them time and time again. And I think when the guys are on and they carry it out, it's a game 3. And when they're not as focused as they need to be or on, it's a game 4. And but the messaging from him and the detail and all that stuff is lights out.
Anything else? I got one for you, Billy. We're looking ahead to trade talks this summer. How many players do you have that are untouchable?
Nobody in this game's untouchable. Wayne Gretzky got traded. Anybody can get traded. Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.
For an extraordinary advantage in sports, you need a game plan. For an extraordinary advantage everywhere else, all you need is Acrisure. With a high-tech human approach to insurance, cybersecurity, and more, Acrisure helps you take care of what you care about. That makes winning easy. See what Acrisure's extraordinary advantage can do for you at Acrisure.com.